Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my latest book. It just came out, hot off the presses, Punishing Pressure Points. Now this book is actually the second one in my pressure point fighting series, and I'm going to explain a little bit more about that when we dive into the actual book. So without any delay, let's start, take a look and see what's inside of Punishing Pressure Points. So here we are with the book, and I mentioned earlier that this book is actually part of a book series. So the first book is called Combat Pressure Points. Now this book came out about a year ago, and it was really well received and continues to do very well on Amazon. So this particular book, Combat Pressure Points, it deals with impact pressure points. This one deals with pain compliance. So these two are night and day in terms of application and results. So I will do a book review on combat pressure points on another time, but right now we're going to focus on this guy. So this book here is approximately 250 pages, and it's loaded. I think it has over 350 photographs. So this is the cover. This is your spine, and this is the back of the book. Now, inside the book, we have an introduction, and we have approximately seven chapters here, glossary, suggested reading, and a little bit about me. So the first thing we talk about is the introduction. Now, I always include an introduction, what is contemporary fighting arts, because there are many people who are not aware of my particular system of self-defense. So I always want to give them some information about how it came about and what we're all about. And it's just several pages, but it gives you, the new reader, an idea of what's going on and how they best can appreciate contemporary fighting arts. Next is chapter 1, which deals with pain compliance pressure points. Now, when I go into this, I first had to break down what pressure points really mean. I talked about some of the myths that exist, because the truth is the words pressure point has a very negative connotation in reality-based self-defense. And that has to do with the grifters and charlatans of the past who tried to promote the ridiculous and absurd democ, death touch, and it lost a lot of respect. So my goal and my objective was to bring respect back to the concept of pressure points. So that's what I did in this chapter. I talked about how it is a vital component of self-defense. So in this chapter, I'm talking about pain compliance pressure points and the reasons why you should use them. There's actually several really important reasons why we use pain compliance pressure points. And I also talk about some of the limitations when not to apply these techniques. So that's just as important as knowing when to apply them. Chapter 2 deals with the first target area is the wrists. So we're going to focus on the wrists here for applying the different pain compliance techniques. And I go into the different ways to attack the wrists and what you can expect in terms of the opponent's reaction to these various wrist movements. I also talk about the difference between proactive and reactive wrist locks, which is very important to know. And the book is just filled with just so many photographs. And I made sure that they were always followed up with very descriptive captions. So a lot of these wrist locks are done standing up as well as on the ground. And then I also talk about how these wrist locks can flow into escort techniques, which are really important if you need to take a hostile individual from one location to another location while still maintaining this pressure point hold. And we're going through it pretty quick. So in chapter 3, we have the shoulders and the elbows, and this chapter is devoted to how to exploit the assailant's elbows and shoulders while utilizing the pain compliance pressure points. So Again, this one is both stand up and if the adversary is on the ground with you, because I want you to be able to apply these techniques in a variety of circumstances. So we have that. And we're going to skip to the next chapter, which is chapter 4, pressure point takedowns. So besides being able to apply these techniques from a stand-up position, I also wanted to arm you with information on how to, once you apply the pressure point hold, how to take them down to the ground. You may want to do that for various safety reasons, or if your occupation requires you to put them in a handcuff position or bring them down to the ground until help arrives. I mean, it's all available here in this chapter. Again, so this is pressure point takedowns. Next is chapter 5, and these are drills. Now, these are really important if you want these techniques to become instinctual and to be a part of your arsenal. I mean, to look through them and maybe try a couple of them, that's one thing. But to be able to do these different type of reaction drills are so critical for this to be an actual instinctual component of your self-defense arsenal. So it's very important. We also talk a lot about, we put on gear and we demonstrate that when you're in the middle of applying a pressure point, pain compliance technique, and the adversary decides to swing at you, we have reaction drills to develop that. It's called abandoning the technique, and I talk about how it's important to prioritize your defense and go for the defensive response first. And I even talk about knives and edge weapons, because that can happen in a self-defense situation. It can escalate like that. And then, of course, in the drills, we call flow drills. And again, lots of photographs and step-by-step instructions for you guys. Next is chapter 6. Now, these are what I call additional pressure point techniques. And this includes such things as breaking the fingers, attacking the opponent's septum. I even talk about if you have handcuffs on the individual and how to actually utilize the handcuffs to gain compliance from him, as well as the kubaton. I mean, I have quite a few different methodologies under the umbrella of pain compliance techniques. Chapter 7 is strengthening exercises. I'm telling you guys, you got to strengthen your wrists and your forearms. This is going to make you very, very formidable when applying these techniques, but they really need to be strengthened. And I have just a variety of different cheap alternatives too, if you guys can't afford equipment and whatnot, but little things that make a difference on how to strengthen your body. And then let's see. And then of course we have in the back of the book, glossary of terms. There's also some suggested reading and a little bit about me in the back. But this is the book in a nutshell, 250 pages of 100% guaranteed pain. And let me tell you guys, these pain compliance techniques are painful. So please be very careful when practicing them with your training partner because they will yield results. So this is the book. Have you purchased it yet? And if you have, please write down in the description down below what your experience has been with it so far. Also know that this book is available in paperback, hardcover, and Kindle editions. So this is part of the Pressure Point Fighting series. And thanks for your time, guys. We'll see you at the next video.